no censoring. Okay, just
No
No censor, no censor. You're the...
Be real.
You are the one censoring what? That's what I'm talking about. Oh my god, Jeremy.
Yes, hello Maddy. Hello again. It's been a while.
Yes, so wow, we are at season 2.
We are season 2.
Hey, wait, we haven't
Yes.
give our greetings.
Oh yes, of course. So today, if you're listening in, and we are dropping in on this very special day, everybody, 恭喜发财。
新年快乐！
万事如意
Yes, 龙
Yay
年行大运. This is the year of the dragon.
It's a year of the dragon, and we thought it would be a great time to drop our season 2 episode 1 on Chinese New Year,
Yes.
day 1 and day 2, because
Yes.
you've got a lot of time doing your visits and sitting around doing nothing. So we thought it'd be a great time for you to listen to a podcast,
We
right?
wanted to give you a reason to look occupied.
Totally.
If you don't
Yes.
feel like talking to your relatives or your friends, you know, you will look like you're enjoying yourself with your earpods or iPods in your ears.
Exactly. And then, of course, I mean, this is a great time for you to also take time off work, you know, have some time to your friends and family. So hopefully you got some time off for yourself, and you know, this podcast will be a great opportunity for you to just kind of recalibrate yourself for the new year.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in case you're listening to us for the first time, let us please introduce ourselves.
Yes.
Right at the top, we are the... Okay, my name is Maddy.
And I'm Jeremy,
We
and we
are
are the
the
Imperfect
Imperfect
Rainbow.
Rainbow. So we have done last year 6 episodes of season 1.
Yes.
And we wouldn't have made it to today's season 2 without all of you supporting us.
Totally. And it was, you know, just a bit of a backstory. It was meant to be a limited series. It was meant to be just try and let's see how it goes. And I think we're just so grateful that we've got so much positive comments, so much encouragement from everybody, and that's given us a lot of courage to obviously now start season 2.
Yeah, so if you are listening to us for the first time, or you are following and waiting hungrily for this season 2, we just want to thank you very, very, very much for giving us the opportunity to do this for you, because we receive so much love and feedback from our friends and family and even strangers that, wow, it just gives us so much fulfillment.
Exactly that. And you know, today is really special because it's the first episode for season 2, and we said that why not we start the new year with a new episode about finding purpose, right? So today is also our first episode where we are going to invite we have invited guests into our episode, our first time to do this. So it's like, what am I talking about? So we are actually kind of nervous as well and excited because it's our first time doing something different. So instead of having 2 mics set up, we have 4 mics set up today. That's kind of fun, right? But again, I think it's also challenging ourselves to try something new and step up our game.
Correct.
Yes.
So the name of our season 2 first episode is Finding Your Purpose in the New Year.
Exactly. Yes.
And the reason why we, you know, to follow through with what Jeremy has said, why we want to bring our guests, because the Imperfect Rainbow want to keep it a platform to share stories with all of you.
Yes.
And what better, I mean, like you have heard from us already in the 6 episodes, you know, we have so much stories that our guests can share with us. That's the reason why we have our 2 most important people on the round table with us now.
Yes. 我卖关子 a little bit. I will tell you who they are just in a really short while. But I think also just to let you know, I mean, it's a new year, new beginnings, hopefully for some of us, for a lot of us. And I also do want to say, you know, we did the very first episode that we had in season 1, episode 1, was called Trying New Things. So a bit of 打广告 here, you know, a bit of advertisement. If you've not listened to the episode, I think it's a great time for you to also listen to the episode for the new year and learn to try new things. I think it's going to be a great time for us to kind of go back to the episode if you have not heard season 1, episode 1. And of course, this is the whole of season 1 as well.
Yes, and like for today, we have guests with us. This is also us trying new things again, because trying new things never ends. We're always trying new things, learning new things, going through new challenges, and that is what keeps us alive and doing these things for all of you.
Yeah. Try new things like a vibe. It's a vibe, it's a mood. So if we preach it, we better practice it, right?
So 我们的关子卖完了吗？
卖完了，可以了。
Shall we bring our guests on?
Okay, now we can move into the 正题 already. Now we can move into the main topic.
So Jeremy, tell us who is sitting with us on this round table today.
Okay. I'll tell you, I'm really excited to introduce our guest today. So, you know, we've been talking about how we are able to do this only because of the amazing work of this studio, okay? And these 2 individuals who has really, really helped us kick off our podcast journey. And this is none other than Wanderwave Studio. And ladies and gentlemen, let's put hands together and welcome Kat and Paul!
Shamelessly clapping for myself. Hi, I'm Kat.
Hi, I'm Paul. It's great to be finally at this side of the table.
Instead of behind, right?
So in case you don't know, Paul here, he's the man behind everything that you hear and read on what he writes on Spotify. Truly, the one that's doing the most work is Paul, because Jeremy and I, we just show up and record only, but he's everything, the reason why we are able to make this live. And it's our honor to really invite Kat and Paul, to be our first guest episode for this season 2, episode 1.
Yes.
And we'll just start right away, okay? Okay, so depending on who want to start first, right? Just give us a introduction about yourselves and the Wanderwave Studio.
Okay, I'll go first. So, hi, I'm Kat. To everyone listening. So, Paul is my husband. So, what we do, we run a makeup artistry studio on the side, and then we have this second business, which is Wanderwave Studio. We focus on like mental and mind coaching, and also on the other side, we do podcast recording for creatives. So, Wanderwave, so we are influencing or trying to, elevate mind waves and also sound waves.
Wow.
So, this is how Wanderwaves came about.
Mind and sound waves.
I like that. You've never mentioned that before.
Yeah,
I love the way
this is something new.
Yeah, the meaning behind the brand.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So I think that's a very beautiful way of articulating how you got to that brand name.
Yeah, so that's why our logo, right, is like a wave, a ripple. So it's like a mental ripple and the sound ripple. So when you see waves, it's always like the frequency of radio is always like that, right? Like a waves, right?
Ooh.
So that's why we call it waves. Yeah.
Mental and
sound waves.
Sound wave.
Yeah. So one ripple at a time. Slowly we spreading the words.
I tell you, I kid you not, this was the image that I had when I walked in this morning.
Wow.
Seriously, because Maddy, we were just talking about how, after we recorded season 1, and we don't really know the impact until today, as in it is still impacting people and people are still coming up to us.
Yeah.
The image in my mind, when Paul was about to open the door, was a stone or a pebble being thrown into the waters, and then you had the circular ripples coming out. That was the image in my mind when I was walking through.
I got a bit of a
and you just mentioned that.
This is what we want to do.
Okay. We are in the right place at the right time. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what I'm telling you.
So how has this ripples been working out for Wanderwave so far?
Okay, this is actually Kat herself. She's a
Makeup artist.
Talented makeup artist. Yeah.
Talented.
Yes.
Hey, this is the husband praising the wife.
Yeah.
Have to.
You see when he want to praise, he like stumble. He like, this is
love going on. Okay, love going on.
But on the side, we also manage a team of young creatives. So they are also makeup artists. We do branding for them. We advise them on a lot of things. And then on the side, I do mental coaching. This is how I met Maddy in the coaching school.
Yep.
Yes.
So then when Maddy dropped a message, remember you shared with everyone like, oh, you drop a message where I said, oh, we want to do a podcast. This is an idea. And then who can do it? Then I was like, maybe we can do it because Paul and me, we record podcasts before. We invited guests before. So there's a thought about it like, oh, one day we can do it for other creatives that find it like a hassle to do all these things, right? And then everything just happened to fall in place because we have this studio like for half a year, right? It's also quite new. And then when Maddy approached us, everything is like a new beginning. Yeah. And you guys are our first official client for podcasts. And then you guys just trusted us, then we just run. Everybody just run with it.
Yeah.
And then
small ripples and everything.
Yeah.
And then it started with just a pebble with probably a question that I asked, and then the ripple was a small one, and then it spread and spread and spread. And then now we're at season 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
So today we are talking about purpose, right? Finding your purpose in the new year. I'm just wondering, because Wanderwave Studio is newly set up, but podcast recording is not new for you. But how did this whole purpose develop for you, either individually or as a husband and wife team? How do y'all go through this whole purpose discovery?
To be honest, initially, I was thinking how to let Paul shine because he always do all the back end stuff, right? And he's good at it. So he always support me behind.
I love how it starts with like, I want to let my partner shine. I love
in
it.
a way also, if the business do well, he bring income lah. So right.
Prove your worth. Prove your worth. Prove your value.
How to milk him since he got the talent. Then I was like, okay. Then maybe we can try. And I was waiting for him to be ready. And then actually he's always having interest in recording podcasts and writing. You know, he loves to write, he loves to read. So I was thinking, but he always behind the scenes. Then how can we put everything together, and then he has a creative outlet, and then we also get to do something fun and support the creatives all together, because these are conversations we have day to day, right? And then I was like, wow, many more people need to hear this, more people need to know, right? And then with a podcast, like I feel that podcasts give that platform. So everybody will start listening and get inspired. Maybe just that one sentence, that 1 minute of listening really will change your perspective, and then the ripples begin, right? It just shifts your perspective, and then it's just very magical.
And then how do you manage to bring Paul on board this whole idea? Or was it, or no selling is needed? He just like, okay, I support, I want to shine.
For this, right, it comes down to, trying new things as well. Because, at first, I was quite hesitant because, when I did the podcast recording back then, because it was all for our own one.
How was it like that?
It was like start of last year. So all those recordings I know that is part of it's my own thing. But now, right, when there's other people involved, and then it's their own recording, right? So there's this feeling that, can I do it or not? Like a bit of like those imposter syndrome that you have talked about. But then the key thing is always just go out and do it. It's like what you have said.
Yeah.
I feel that Paul is also biased. When he is an official client, he put double the effort. He do everything sweet, like he's all the writing, all the everything. He go and research on his free time, how to edit better and things like that.
Wow.
So I think, that's the stress level there when he's committed to client.
Yeah.
I'm curious, just now you talked about, initially there's this like imposter syndrome and fear. How do you navigate yourself through this and like, okay, let's do it, even though I'm so scared? Like, what was going on?
Main thing is really just to no censoring. Okay, just
no censor. You're the
real.
You are the one censoring
just 讲，现在可以 F bomb 的，不用紧。
Okay, it's just to fuck it, just do it, don't let those thoughts hold yourself back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And sometimes it's so easy for us to be held back by our thoughts, because sometimes it's just a matter of like, maybe 我不可以, maybe I can't, or maybe not now, right? Or maybe some other time, maybe someone else can do it better. Yeah, I think sometimes we do let our thoughts get into our own way. And how do you kind of overcome that? I mean, like, yes, this whole thing about just go ahead and do it. But like, what was it that little push for you to go like, okay, let's just go all in it and try anyway?
Okay, because recently I've been reading books by authors like Adam Grant, Malcolm Gladwell. So it's because of all these words that I convinced myself that the thing is just to take a first step.
Yes. Taking the first step is so very, very important.
Taking the first step.
That's right.
If I can add, for me, right, or like in general, I always ask myself, will I regret? If I keep thinking about something, if I don't do it, will I look back and regret that, I should have done it? So if I rather do it and then it doesn't really cost me anything, it's like, why not? I'd rather try than to regret, like looking back, not doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then like last year, 2023, right, for me, it's about leaning into the fear. So once you lean, actually it's not so scary.
So tell us a little bit about the journey of you taking that first step and then learning along the way. How has that journey, has it been difficult? Was it something that was very different from what you envisioned it to be? Tell us a little bit more about the journey so far.
I think we also want to find out and let our listeners know that finding purpose is not some big woo-woo project. Because if you're listening to, Paul and Kat and what they are going through, it's really just about discovery of little steps and then finding some joy even though there's fear. And then this is whole purpose. It's not like, you don't have to be somebody big to have a purpose, right?
Yes, exactly.
We just want to share with you our human stories and what purpose is.
Yes. And I want to say this, and I don't know how many of you had this mental image, okay? A lot of you think that, okay, finding purpose, right, means must go up a mountain. Then the clouds descend. Then you're sitting there in yoga position, and then I think a lot of you may be thinking about that's how purpose come, vision come, right? No. It's like what Paul say, fuck it and just do first.
Yeah.
Just
Like,
take that big step and do first. And then you figure out along the way. Yeah, you don't wait for like, wow, someone to drop a 10-year plan into your brain. Wow, my next 10 years搞定. No, it doesn't work like that.
Actually, it's true. Because for me, it's like once I have the thought, then I just like, okay, what's the easiest way to do it? So the whole thing started when I listened to Liew, right? That they record podcasts, then they share a bit of what they buy and how they use, right? Then I just ask Paul, hey, go and see the system, and go and see. Usually I'm very like impulsive, right? So I just go in and say, hey, want to buy or not? Then he's like, you want to buy today? Then it's like, because he's always like, think, man. I'm just like, go with the flow. I want to do it, I'll do it immediately.
Now we know who's having the credit card charges.
Then he's like, oh, but I think he also listened to podcasts for quite a few years. So that it's a part of him that he's a bit like, over the years he's really thinking. So I'm just a push factor. I'm just like, let's just buy then think later. So we buy and we try to say like, it's an investment we can afford. Then we can like use it. I know I have psycho him a bit like, marketing, blah, blah, blah. Then it's like we try. Then we really try. And then it was fun. I thought like, if I spend this, it can also be me trying new things. It's like a hobby investment and it's like, why not? Like what I say, right? So it started with just listening to what makes you feel good or excited. So I think
where do you listen?
It's
like just mention about listening.
Gut feeling. Like there's this excitement, like jittery.
Ooh, excitement. I like.
Yeah, like a butterfly in your stomach. For me, it's like that. Then I was like, I will like, want to wake up. Like, like your mind will be like, oh, what's the next episode? Oh, what should I do? Like, you get very excited about things, right? If I can imagine the possibility of an extension of something that I do, right, then I want to do it.
Wow. So for Kat, this excitement is like this feeling of sensation in the body, something that she's looking forward to drive. And what about you? What excites you? How does excitement feel for you?
So for yours, right, I feel excited when after I did all the cutting and all right, and then I feel that the final product is good. That's when I feel that, and that's when I feel a sense of like accomplishment.
And then how does because you are doing all the work on the editing and the cutting and all these, right? How do you know when it is this good for you? Because how do you know?
Usually when I do it, right, okay, I look at it from the perspective of how will I want myself to sound, right? Like, okay, I do it, okay, because let's say, okay, for like a certain recording, right, that there is a very, 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 okay, you all said something that might not put yourself out in a very good light. So, okay, that's when I have to think, okay, do I cut this out or do I leave it in to let you all be authentic? And then so that's what I think of it. So, okay, maybe in the long run, this might not age well. So I cut it out. And then I go hear back the whole thing again. And then I feel that, okay, this is actually a very, very good, a solid piece of thing that I have here. Okay, so that's when I feel, okay, very good.
I can tell when
I've done it.
I tell when he's excited when he said, hey, I did already, you want to hear or not? You want to listen? I've done already. Yeah. Then you rarely see him like that, So because he's more like mellow in terms of emotion expression. So like when he's telling me, hey, you want to listen or not? Like not bad. Then he don't tell me the detail, want me to listen myself. So that's why I know he really very excited about his work.
And this is the first time I'm also hearing for myself the thought process that you are going through, right? Like what he thinks about in terms of editing, what needs to be processed. Because I mean, both of us are here to record our voices, but we don't really think so much about what. I mean, we probably also wouldn't remember what we actually said sometimes, right? So when we're hearing it back, I mean, as a client, as somebody who is kind of recording it, we go like, okay, this is interesting.
And the thing is, I must credit a lot to your thought process on like, you were saying what brings value and what is authentic and not. Because the truth is, when Jeremy and myself, we listen back to our podcast, right? We feel that, and maybe we have shared before, that we feel that it's a healing process for both of us.
Yes.
Like, we enjoy listening to ourselves. At first, we thought that it's a bit of narcissistic, right?
Whoops.
And then after that, when we see people, sharing that, they feel inspired or what. And then when I listen to ourselves second time, third time, that feeling is still very good. So your as in like Paul's effort in this whole editing is bring a lot of ripple effect, many
for sure. And I like what you were saying just now, and this also relates to what we were saying earlier about your purpose behind doing the podcast. And I like how you mentioned about the why. So mentally, this is why I'm doing it, right? And you are very clear about what was the inspiration behind it. But also within, like Kat, you're talking about how when you think about it, it wakes you up in the morning, and you have this energy and buzz about it in your body. So I think that it's really nice when in your mind there's a very good reason why you're doing it. There's a why, you're very clear with that, but it also resonates with what's happening in your body. And I think that's where the magic happens, right? So the mind and the body kind of comes together and you go like, this is exactly what I'm doing. And that's very purpose driven. And that feeling of purpose goes beyond just knowing it.
Yeah.
And feeling it is about knowing and feeling at the same time. I think it's very powerful. Yeah.
And we were saying that having a purpose doesn't mean that you're sitting on top of the mountain,
No,
got
it's
this
not.
cloud, got this light. It
Yeah.
can be as simple as something that excites you and you have that exciting feeling in your body. That's your purpose of that hour or that day, right? It doesn't have to be some big ass thing.
I agree. So I also have a question, and I think this also relates to your wider experiences as individuals and doing business for a while. Which, by the way, I want to say I'm actually very, I'm super respectful. I really admire entrepreneurs
Yes.
because I think I've had a short stint of that in my life. It's not easy. It's not easy because it's not like you work in a corporate world where, you have like many different functions supporting you. You have finance, you have,
A big team.
you have a big team. You can ask somebody to do something and then everybody is part of that organization. But as an entrepreneur, a lot of times you're by yourself and you'll be extremely resourceful. So first I want to say I really, really admire entrepreneurs. I think there's so much...
Because we are corporate people, okay?
Corporate people,
so,
yeah. So our understanding, and the way we do things is a little bit different.
Yeah.
So the question I have is, what's your experience been like in kind of like finding and identifying your purpose generally in life? Has it been an easy journey for you? Has it something that's been so clear, from you for you at the beginning? How has it been like?
I think for me, like, I always fall back to the gut feeling, like I say, right? I honor, like, the immediate feeling of what I like. So when I started maybe in my teen, I'm doing part-time, I realized that I like service. I enjoy the communicating, helping people to find what they really like. From like doing nails or just service experience, helping people find the makeup that they like. So it kind of like, I kind of feel that, I actually don't really like doing exactly the task that I do back then, but I do really like the exchange of energy and helping people to find something that they like and make their day. So I think from there, then I said, okay, I like service and maybe I'm easy to communicate with people. Then it builds from there. Then when I happened to like makeup and then, found here and there, then dive into this. It's just a lot of thinking. I think being a freelancer is easier than running entrepreneurship or like having people under you, because like then I have to refine my purpose again, because then I have to step down and
when okay, so sorry to interrupt, but when do you realize that the purpose that you used to enjoy has to change,
has to shift when I get burnt out, I guess, when I'm alone.
Okay.
And then I realize that there's no support and I start to feel like a bear grudges with what I do, and then I realize that there's a lot more thing I want to do, and then I find joy in a lot more things. So as an entrepreneur, solopreneur, or like, it's very hard for me to step out of a solo, like one person, so all the attention on you, to step down and help other people. Sometimes it's a bit difficult when you have to let your ego down a little bit and then like re-divert the attention and things like that, right? That's when I start asking myself, do I actually enjoy it? Actually, I enjoy it. I enjoy nurturing the next generation, helping new artists, helping creatives. And I think Paul had the same thing when from his previous job, he's also helping like young athletes. So we have this common like interest of like nurturing the next gen. So that's why I know like we can work together. And then from there I realized, this is also a purpose, just helping and being the bridge for the other people, like other creatives, just like Wanderwave, right?
Wow.
It's the bridge for other creatives, and then for our other job, we are also like the bridge to other creatives.
And I like it that you have this journey of discovering your purpose, that you also reflect and realize that what was serving me very well is not working out. You have burnout and then you bear grudges, and then that is an invitation to relook and assess again what is exciting for you and what is your next purpose journey.
Yes.
Right?
And I really like what you said about figuring out what you like, at the same time also figuring out what you don't like. Because that and again is again to me it's not about that clear purpose arrived at your feet. No, it's about kind of sieving out, right? Okay, this is what I like. Okay, I pull it in if I like it. I don't like this, I start sieving out, and it's almost a process of taking what I like, sieving out what I don't like, and then figuring things out. Hopefully it gets clearer and clearer along the way.
And we wouldn't have the answers right away.
Well, hopefully at some point, I always think it's very directional. I don't think I ever like, wow, this is my purpose. But I think it's very directional. But at least you're kind of moving towards the right direction. And hopefully at some point in time, it gets clearer.
So it's a direction, it's not like point of
Yeah.
purpose.
I think so.
I think so. It's just
Yeah.
like the podcast. We don't really know like how we want to record it, what tone we want. But as you record, you kind of know like what works well for you guys, the pace, the speed. I think you kind of feel that like you have to try to know what you like, and then slowly you'll find the joy, and then the purpose happen to like, oh, so this is my purpose.
Okay,
For
now
me, it's like that.
I have a question for Paul. What? Okay, and you can answer this by yourself or for Wanderwave Studio, right? What are you hungry for this year in the Year of Dragon? And okay, because just now I was Googling a bit, let me share. The Year of Dragon signifies power, ambition, passion, and creativity. And I think we're all here kind of, should be quite agreeable with what Year of Dragon signifies. So what are you hungry for?
Well, I'm hungry for a busy year.
Wow.
I
like
I
that.
thought he want to say roti prata.
Okay, a busy year means that my year is filled with lots of things going on. Lots of customers, clients. Which means because the bottom line, the key thing is still money.
Yes, of course.
And then
And 重要, don't laugh, okay? Very important, okay? Money is very important. I never dismiss, okay? People who say money
This
not
is a
important.
foundational importance.
Yeah, don't know the importance of money.
yeah. Those who say money 不重要 is it's either they 太多钱
You're living in a different world.
Because usually Paul don't say all this. So I'm like, listening. And
Okay,
it's the Year of Dragon. He's told that.
Oh, you are Year of Dragon.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Okay,
you're
okay.
12 years old, 24 years old, 26 years old.
Well, we're not gonna make a speculation here.
Okay, so you want a year of busyness, clients,
Abundance.
leads,
Yes,
abundance.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully lah.
What else are you hungry for? So this is you as a business, but yeah.
On a personal level, I'm always hungry for more knowledge. My aim every year is to read 100 books.
Wow, that is a good.
Okay, quick one. 2023, how many books did you read?
2022 I read about 80.
Wow.
2023, which is last year, it dropped to 30. So
30 books in a year
So-
is still a lot.
so which means I've got busier as the year goes.
Now to all listeners, now you know why the way our episode is being descripted on the Spotify.
Yes.
Okay, so like just
Yes.
background information, because this is also 打广告, right?
Yeah.
The truth is, Jeremy and I, we are always so happy with the way Paul has scripted
Yes.
our episodes.
Yes.
We have no objections. We just love the way he word everything so beautifully. It's like we were just doing recording, right? But wow, everything that he has right in the description is like, it's so beautiful.
Yes. And
This is with how many books that he has read.
Yeah, so it takes knowledge. And you know how when you go into Spotify, so there's going to be like the synopsis, right? So there's a bit of synopsis, and there's timestamp, and we'll come
Yeah.
So there's synopsis. And I think the synopsis is extremely important because it's a short paragraph, but it needs to encapsulate the key learnings, the key insights. So you need to draw the person before listening to be interested. So I think that synopsis for me is extremely important, and I really agree. I think Paul writes it so well, and you cannot anyhow write such things.
Yeah.
You got to be because if you succinct with your words,
Yes.
it can't be too long, and it's got to be punchy. It's got to draw the person in to go like, it's interesting. Let me try to listen in and see what's that about. So I really appreciate that, because I think that synopsis extremely important for me, and it's very well written.
And I don't know, like, I mean, we talked about us being the Wanderwave's first set of clients, and this is professional level, because I think what you are doing is you're putting the listener at the heart of what you're doing, right? You are trying to envision what the listener wants to see and hear, and that's why you have this beauty of putting everything together. So Wanderwave Studio.
Yes. And then Paul also saying just now, so you read like 100 books, or 80 books the year before. Last year it was
30.
It's still very
A
decent.
lot. It's a lot.
I struggle to do a little bit of that. I need to read a little bit more.
Yeah, because the thing is, I just read every night before I go to sleep, like 2 hours. So usually a book will take about 6 hours. So just do the math.
Because personally, he said this year he wants to acquire more knowledge.
Yeah.
That is his purpose.
I
And we
think
can have
so.
different purposes, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we're in the journey and the midst of reading your books, I'm sure it must have given you also different inspirations for, podcasts and all, because I always think it's one thing to do the job, but it's another thing to add value to the job. It's very different, right? I mean, if you're truly thinking about just kind of doing something in a very routine manner, I mean, it doesn't take much. It's just knowing how to complete it. But then being able to put on the thinking cap and go like, okay, I'm doing this. How can I do better? What more value can I add? I think that's something that nobody can teach you. But it's something that if you do on your own, it adds magic to the recipe. Yeah. And any more interesting stuff that you've learned from that? Anything you're hungry for in 2023?
Maybe as a collective for both of you, this question, yes. What do you hope Wanderwave Studio to achieve in the Year of Dragon?
Okay, I'll speak for both of us. Okay, I think for 2024, I hope we both get out of our comfort zone and not be afraid to do things that we are not comfortable with.
Wow.
That's always
any plans in mind? It sounds like there's something brewing.
Ready to share? Ready to share? If you're not, it's okay. I'm sensing something.
I'm sensing some discomfort, but yet also some excitement.
I don't know why he make it so mysterious. There's nothing actually. But I think like every year we want to do that, and then like we are trying to expand our team a little on the other side. And then a lot of like for me it's like creativity, and then Paul is always supporting. And I asked him, "What do you hope that every year is like super busy every month?" He said, "Of course." And then I said like, okay, then it's like challenging. We want to expand, but yet we want to balance things out. So sometimes I'll be like, do you think we can do it? Like, so we always have to counter check with each other. So it's always good to have a partner, I think, in terms of business that have the same mentality as you, or maybe a little bit different is fine, because by now you can tell I'm a bit more like anyhow, like outward try, then he's thinker. So like but I do sometimes I'll get scared one halfway. I'm like, 可以吗? Like, should I continue? Then he'll be like, since you already do, then just, you have to be a bit more patient, just wait it out. So I think like that kind of like support is super important. So I think always hang out with people who have the same mentality and support you and believe in your purpose. Sometimes we don't believe in our purpose. But other people believe your purpose more than you. Yeah.
I really like it, because like finding purpose doesn't have to be a lonely journey, right?
No, it's not. Yeah.
And it helps to sound it out with people, like-minded people that can help support your whole discovery.
Yes. Yeah. We liken purpose to, I liken purpose to knowing your why. Like when you find out your why, that's your purpose. And somebody mentioned this to me before. Let me try to capture in the right words. Okay. So when your why is bigger than the other person's why, you will win. Because when your why is bigger, it means your motivation is greater. You're clearer about what you want to achieve. So whoever why is bigger and clearer, the person will win. Or the person will, achieve that. Yeah.
Can I have a question for the host today? Like
yes.
Two of you. Do you think the motivation comes from within or from outside? For other people giving you the motivation, or it has to be from yourself internally?
So like whether it's intrinsic or extrinsic, is it that why you're asking?
I think there is no formula, right? There's no formula. And while we are moving in such a fast-paced society, there will be so many expectations and templates that's going on outside. And for some, probably the motivation that is externally driven can help. But I think ultimately, you still need to navigate within yourself and find out what really motivates you in order for it to be sustainable. Yeah. Maybe short-term wise, okay, you just, I just want to, I don't know, like look prettier than so-and-so, or look slimmer and so, okay, then that's a short-term. But sustainable long-term, which covers mental health, I think intrinsic motivation from within is pretty important.
Yeah.
That's my take.
For me, it's about, I feel I have to internalize my why. Yeah. And I think if I kind of look back at our podcast journey, it started with Maddy asking, right? At the traffic light and all that, asking, do you want to do this? I think it took a while for me to internalize that why. But I also feel that if I haven't done that work of internalizing it, at some point in time, you would lose rhythm, it's time schedule. It's a lot of reasons that life will throw at you for not being able to turn up on Sunday at a certain time to record it. So I think that internalizing of your why is very important. And one more thing I'll add is, it always brings me back to my theatre days. Yeah, I feel that when I did theatre, I always feel that if I want to do something, if I like it so much, I'll do it for free. Yeah, and that's how theatre felt like for me. It was always, and seats, we always say, our pockets are empty, but our hearts are full. Yeah, so I always remember that whatever I do, my heart needs to be full, because I always feel that when your hearts are full and you're doing the right thing, and you're doing quality work, the money will always come.
Yeah, and I think to our listeners, don't be so stressed up on if you don't know your why yet. Because like what Jeremy said, when we started the podcast, there's no big why. It was a why not for me. Just like that. But the why slowly became clearer as we started to record and launch our podcast.
Yeah.
Then people start to tell us, our podcast is great, it inspired them. And I think our why became clearer only halfway into the journey.
Right, exactly.
So you don't have to, it will be great if you have a good, solid why, but don't be worried if you don't. And I like it that Paul just now said that imposter syndrome, this feeling is normal and sometimes it can be good. Because when we have this imposter syndrome, it's just something that we want to improve. That's why we think that, we're not good enough, but how can I be better?
Yeah.
Like we always have a how, then we do the next one small step.
Yep.
Right?
Okay. So I feel like we've come to the point where we want to talk a little bit about the quotes. What do you think? Yeah?
So traditionally,
traditionally we've been doing it. So we thought since we have a guest on our show, we want our guests to share their favorite quotes and tell us a little bit more about their quotes. Okay, so I think they've prepared one each, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
they have not aligned on the preparation. So this is separate homework.
They have not.
So
they have not heard each other's quotes yet.
Yeah, I think that they
this
have
is fun.
I've never told my quote.
So the air now is like a bit of like, my quote is very good. A bit of competition going on.
Is there a competition? Oh gosh.
Who want to go first?
Paul, he reads so many books, better have a better quote than me.
Wow. See? 来了咯, the pressure.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
So this quote is, the setting is in a grave, a cemetery.
Cemetery, wow.
Okay. This might sound very morbid, but the quote is, it's on a tombstone. Okay, what's engraved there is, what you are, they once were. What they are, you will be.
Wow.
Okay, so this means that all the material possessions that you have right now, might be important to you at this point of time, but in the next few years, you will be like them in the grave.
Wow, why do you choose this? This is interesting and it's so factual, right? It cannot be more factual than this. But
I think it has been like 8-9 years since I've seen this phrase, and it has still been in my mind all these years. So I think it's left a huge imprint on me.
Wow. And what does it how does it inspire you on a day-to-day, or how does it propel you on a day-to-day?
So when I think of this quote, right, so it brings me back like to don't be so focused on things that don't matter, but rather to build on to work on yourself.
Interesting.
See, purpose can be as simple as that.
Yeah.
Just ignore what doesn't matter and just focus on yourself.
Yeah. In the scheme of things, in the bigger picture of things, a lot of things actually don't really matter.
Don't matter.
So it's true. Yeah. And
just like the opinions of others. They have a space, but they don't matter.
That's right. Yeah, you have an armpit, keep it away. Use a deodorant sometimes, when you need to.
Well, thank you for sharing, Paul. It was very, very beautiful. See, our podcast producer has
I love that. But can you just say that phrase one more time?
Okay. What you are, they once were. What they are, you will be.
Wow. And who is this quote by?
I have no idea. It's on a tombstone.
Okay.
Someone's tombstone.
Okay, somebody's tombstone. Oh. Okay.
Okay.
到你.
Okay.
Okay, so I have this quote by Marshall Sylver. Is everything begins with a thought, and thoughts are turned into plans, and plans into reality.
Wow.
So this to say,
you're such a planner. Oh my god.
It's like everything is actually started with just a thought. So it could be very simple, and your reality can be just an idea, just like you're crossing the road, right?
Yes.
Just a thought. So this is to say that emphasize the power of thought shaping into our actions and ultimately become real for you. So always keep your ideas and who knows.
And just put it into action.
Yeah.
And it can be a very small step. And then you try it and you know it, and then you take another step.
So it's an idea, plan, and it happened.
And that's a really good reminder for us that thoughts are so powerful that we really need to also be as much as possible, be in control of our thoughts, right? Because these thoughts can really, really shape your life. And control your destiny.
Wow.
Amazing.
What a great episode 1.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I like it that we have guests and we learn more from the people that we invite, and then like the depth really goes deeper.
Yeah, it's a very different feel altogether. Very interesting for me. I'm enjoying
I thought you
it.
have quotes also.
Yeah, have quotes, right?
No,
Everybody have to have one quote.
For the episodes with guests, it is the guest homework.
Guest quote. Yeah. So must give you homework.
Hey, this episode is to shine, give you all the light and
Yes.
all the abundance of Wanderwave
Exactly.
Studio.
That's
So we
right.
don't want to steal away the
thunder,
limelight from
yes.
both of you.
So wrapping this up, I want to say, for those of you out there who are thinking about doing a podcast, just try. And I think the podcast, and this is me kind of observing, I think the podcast community is getting interesting. It's getting more varied. There's a lot more variety. There's a lot more people willing to add their voices. And I want to say there's always a space for your voice. There's always a space for your voice, and there's always somebody else there who will be listening, who'll be keen to listen to what you have to say. So don't be shy. If you're thinking about doing something like that, starting a podcast, approach Wanderwave Studios.
Yeah.
They've got amazing facilities here.
Yes.
And Paul and Kate are just great to just even bounce ideas off.
Yeah.
And I think they'll be a great one-stop shop for you.
Yeah,
Just
and
try
we
out
are
your
in this
podcasting.
very comfortable studio in the heart of Singapore in
I
town.
love it.
Beautiful space,
Mm.
drinks, coffee, comfortable, and everything is going to be so seamless and fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Little
Okay.
people think it's a paid ad, this one. Thank you for the sweet words.
Yeah,
Thank you
all
very
from the
much.
heart, okay?
Yeah,
Yes.
我们没有给钱。
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just truly from our heart because
Yes.
this whole podcast recording has been such a fulfilling journey for both of us that the
Absolutely.
least that we can do is offer a space for all the listeners out there to know about Wanderwave Studio. And if you're not doing a podcast, never mind. If anybody's interested, your friends or whoever, just share the contacts. That's it.
Totally. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the end of our season 2, episode 1.
Yes, we are the Imperfect
We are
Rainbow.
the Imperfect Rainbow. And once again, I'm Jeremy.
And my name is Maddie. And thank you, Ken and Paul.
Thank you, Ken and
you.
Paul.
Thank you for
at
having
Wanderwave Studio.
us.
记得 subscribe the Imperfect Rainbow.
Producer.
Thank you.
Okay, see you next episode.
See you.
Bye-bye.